but not before we add a sectioned or a center divider. So I'm going to set that aside for now. I'm going to grab a long zipper. We'll make this one a really pretty blue. Oh yeah, that'll be pretty. I'm using a zipper much longer than I really need it to be, but I want to make sure that, you know, there's plenty. And I am going to be taking 2 of my waterproof canvas lining pieces. And these are cut from the main panel of your exterior fabric. Okay. So I'm going to follow the directions for adding the zippered center divider. This is the last page of the pattern instructions, page 24. If you're using regular fabric, you're going to cut 4 of these, and 2 of them can match your interior, your lining fabric, and then you can cut 2 of another fabric just to kind of add a pop of color inside that zippered portion. Mine is just waterproof canvas, and it would be too thick to add 4 of these, so I'm just going to do these 2. That, and it's nice that it is waterproof, so I like to leave it that way. 1 lining piece face up, add your zipper face down on top of the lining piece. If longer than your lining piece, it's okay. We will be trimming down the excess fabric as well as zipper. We're going to baste the zipper into place. I'm going to let it trail off the side because it gets sewn in anyway, so yeah. So now we're going to press open the seam and top stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the zipper. Again, if you're using lining fabric, regular quilting, cotton, whatever, you're going to have a total of 2 pieces on this seam, and you're just going to like open it up and sew. I'm going to steam this really quick and kick the camera. And adding that little bit of steam just helps loosen up the waterproof canvas so it's not so bulky as you're sewing. I'm just gonna sew along the top edge. And if you want to add like maybe a second row stitching, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to leave it like that. And then we're going to add the second piece on the other side of the zipper. And Ben's going to shift the way he's laying. Thank you, bobbin overseer. We ran out at just the right time. So now this is the last bobbin I wound, and it should be just enough to finish off the bag. Oh yeah. I'm winning bobbin roulette today. I'm gonna go buy a lottery ticket. Just kidding. Okay, so now we're gonna open this up and repeat those steps. right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this with right sides together. So you're going to see the inside of the pocket, and we're going to sew along the bottom edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Yes. So just kind of follow the edge of the foot. And then we're going to flip it open and sew along again to kind of hide that seam. So right now you should have like a zipper tube. And I'm just gonna iron the bottom. And then if you want to if you want to sew together the sides too, make sure you bring your zipper pull in. Just baste that together. Oh, my thread break? Oh, Ben, you're adorable. Can I have that? Can I have that? No. No? Can I have that? Excuse me. Excuse me. If I cut it off, will that work for you? There you go. Oh, it's less fun now, isn't it? So along this side too. Okay, bye. So now you've got like this long zippered section. And the way we're going to insert it into our bag is going to be a little different, but bear with me. Because you're going to find it interesting. At the very least, you'll find it interesting. All right, so nearly completed lining panels, and we're going to sew along the top sides at a 1/2 inch seam allowance only, 3.5 inches down. So I'm just going to mark out where I should stop. So 3.5 inches down. And 1 inch on the bottom edges. Like so. Okay, 1/2 inch seam allowance and go. Smaller stitch length. And we're going to back stitch each one of those. And then the last one. Okay, then I'm going to trim all this extra thread. Okay. So it together. So now we're gonna bring the corners together, matching the side seams. I'm gonna open it up. And sew along the bottom using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So if you're gonna have like these side slits that are wide open, but we know the basic shape of our lining now, which is like I said, it's a trapezoidal shape. So we're just gonna slide this in. Make sure you bring your zipper in. Okay, just sliding it in. So you can see there's a lot of excess on the bottom. That's okay. So there's that side. Looks like I stitched down a little too far. Yeah, I did almost 4 inches on this side, so that's my bad. So I'm just gonna undo my stitching a little bit and we're gonna stitch over it again, no problem. But I wanna make sure that my center divider isn't like weird or bunchy like it, and it was, and now it's not, so nailed it. Okay, so we're gonna sew. This is a little bit tricky because we sewed the corners together, but if we hadn't sewn those corners together, we wouldn't know the shape as well. So we're just gonna start there, kind of adjust it, make sure it's not crooked. Make sure your zipper is zipped, unzipped about halfway. And then we're gonna repeat it with this side, just kind of make the bag the shape it needs to be. There we go. Okay. And now I'm gonna do the same thing with this side. And I'm just starting a little bit above where I stitched previously. Kind of adjusting this as I go. Okay. 1, 2.5. so now we're gonna cut off all this extra seam allowance on the side. And then if you want to, you can sew the bottom of your bag closed completely and only birth through this pocket, or you can leave the bottom of your bag open so we can birth through there. But when you look inside, you've got this center large zippered pocket, and you can put stuff on either side. It's pretty awesome.